Hey everyone, I am Josh with Motorcycle and Powersports News, and this is the big reveal of Project X here. First off, thank you all for tuning in. I'm really excited about this, and in fact, I'm so excited that we brought someone from Bronco ATV UTV in. I've got Bo Rose here. So he is going to be the one that is going to reveal Project X. Now I know you guys have seen a lot of the stuff that we've done, but you haven't seen this. Bo, I think it looks amazing. When you look at what we started with compared with what we've got, what a difference. Now the way it's set up, what do you think, Bo?
It looks amazing. It looks like a whole new machine.
I have to agree with you on that. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna grab a table, take a look at what we started with here. Let me know what you think. Is there a difference here? So as you can see, they're pretty big difference, like huge difference. And that's just the looks department. So we started out with some mechanical things, and this being 14 years old, had some mechanical issues. And so one of which was a couple of these guys. You guys supplied these for us, and thank you. So with the Bronco tie rod ends, what am I looking at with some of these?
These are going to be your aftermarket direct OE replacement. They're going to be OE quality or better. Most of the time we're finding better than OE quality. And they're going to tighten up your front steering system.
This had some issues with, wandering around. So the other part that we did is we did the front and rear shocks and struts and springs on these. So this is the old rear, which it wasn't leaking or anything, but and so the problem that we have here is I'd like you to kind of give me some update on what difference I may notice with this, because now that we have the wrap on it, the boss knew what I was going to do and figured it would not be pretty after I took it out in the woods. So I haven't ridden it yet. So what am I going to notice when we take it out with this that's different?
So all of our Bronco shocks come with a 10% stiffer spring, and all of our shock style, non-strut style shocks have infinite preload adjustment.
Okay, I saw that. So there's the two collars that you can change with that. So that way, if I stick a deer rack or whatever on the back,
Plow on the fronts, it's made to compensate for that.
Okay, because the factory's got, I mean, let's face it, this is limiting. It's about a 3/4 of an inch of adjustment, maybe?
And ours are about 4 inches maybe.
Yeah, so there's a huge difference there. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what this will do out on the trail now, especially once I stick my fat butt up on that seat. This will obviously help out. So next up, we changed over and we went inside. As you guys saw in the video, this had some low compression on one of the cylinders. It seemed to be a ring issue because as we put some oil in, it started to bring the compression back up. So we've got a Namura pistons, cylinders, and then we ended up with Bronco valves in the top end of this. These weren't burnt necessarily to say, but when you look, there's a pretty healthy ridge on these. So we started it, it runs. I have had it in the shop running, much to the chagrin of people upstairs that are in their offices trying to work while I'm running this thing. So what are some of the differences that I might see, like with the piston?
Machined heads, anodized domes, and the rolled on coated skirts.
So when we go on to the valves then, so the valves were Bronco products, right? So the valves, what am I noticing with these? I mean, the Bronco, they looked very similar to the stock ones.
They're going to be OE quality stainless steel valves.
Okay, but they're less expensive, right?
Much less expensive.
That's a big thing. So let's move on. Next up, I am going to grab a piece of wire because the winch is on the front here. So The Bronco winches, I mean, I haven't had a test. I mean, like I said, the boss wouldn't let me take this out. I want to take it out and I want to stick it in those uncomfortable spots to see how well this Bronco winch does. What can I expect out of it?
Well, you got a 3,000-pound winch on the front of this. It's going to get you out of any mud hole you need to get out of and help you around the house with yard work and pulling trees and anything you need to do.
Okay, so you think I may get this stuck?
No, absolutely.
So next up, we've got some other miscellaneous parts here. So the fuel system on this, once again, 14 years old, and it's got a fair number of miles on it, but it didn't have a huge number of miles on it, which tells me it sat a little bit, meaning you guys all know how today's fuels are. Blech. So we ended up replacing some fuel system pieces. The first one that we started with was the throttle cable in this, because as you can see here,
it's pretty cracked, yeah.
Yeah, it's cracked, it's crusty, it's perhaps well past it's outlived its useful life. That's the right way to put that. So the throttle cable in this, once again, I'm assuming OE quality or better.
OE quality or better.
I mean, the installation on this was super simple, really easy. There was I've put throttle and clutch cables on before where they just don't seem to fit right. And this just, I don't want to say installed itself because then I'm out of a job. But so fuel filter, fuel pump, those came together. Once again, I mean, is it a same, it all went together the same. OE quality?
OE quality replacement.
Perfect. That's what we like. The fuel pressure regulator. This was one where I was pleasantly surprised where it came with it because so many of them don't. And if you're in there, you've already got the fuel system torn apart, you may as well replace this. I'm assuming it's factory fuel pressure on this?
Yes, yep.
Perfect. So far, I mean, everything that's gone in here, you guys watched the videos, it was really good and pretty simple. I feel better now knowing that I can be out on the trail and I've got OE quality or better in the quad, and if I get it stuck, I'm not actually stuck. So we had two others that were kind of accessories in terms of this. We replaced the seat cover, and to me the seat cover, I believe it's pretty rough. Yeah, the fact that a mouse had made a hole in one of in the bottom of the seat was partially interesting. Your guys' cover has a nice grip to it.
Yep. So all of our covers come with a textured grip, so to help so you don't slide on your seat on your machine.
This thing, I mean, when we picked this up and I brought it into the shop, this thing is slippery. Yep. And I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, we all armor-alled our ATV seats because we thought it would be a good idea, and we all learned that it was not a good idea. So having this, I mean, as worn out as it is and as slippery as it was, having that, I mean, it does feel grippy. I don't feel like I'm gonna eject myself if I mash the throttle. The next thing is we were just talking earlier before we came on the air here that I am a freeze baby, like bad. The heated grips, these don't use a whole heck of a lot of electricity even, do they?
Very little electricity.
I mean, that's awesome. And the fact that it had the thumb throttle heater, the whole 9 yards with this.
5 levels of adjustment.
Yeah. And then, so there's 2 other outlets there if I want to run heated gear then too, correct?
Correct.
Just to plug in my shorts and sit there and plow snow all day long?
You gotta stay warm somehow.
Yeah, because I'm not going to stay warm naturally, especially this, I mean, and you guys are in Minnesota, right?
Yes, yep, we are in.
I would not survive there.
It's cold.
Yeah.
20s in the winter.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do this. No. I can understand why you guys have a heated hand grip set now. We're going to start with a funny one. This, crunchy. Yeah, it made some noises that bearings are not supposed to make. This was one of the new ones. This was a lot better. It was a lot nicer. It rolled. I mean, once again, I'm assuming OE quality, OE specs, everything like that in those?
Correct, yes.
I mean, to me, that is the biggest difference. I mean, I know I joked in some of the videos. As I've mentioned before in other things, it's always inconvenient to have to go back and pick up your wheel and hub assembly. There is nothing more inconvenient than having to go back on the trail and pick up your wheel. That's just, it makes for a bad day. So having a good bearing in there makes all the difference in the world. On top of that, in these boxes, we had wheel spacers. Yes, I mean, to me, they give it a great look. So with the wheel spacers, I mean, these were aluminum?
Aluminum, yes, they're aluminum. We have wheel spacers in ranges from 0.5, from a ½ inch up to 2 inches. Okay. So to cover almost any ATV on the market.
And the thing that I like about them too is they give it this nice stance. They stick them out. It gives it that little bit of a wider track. I'm going to have better stability now. And I noticed too, just moving it around the way I have, it has not made it that much more difficult to steer, because that's sometimes a concern with some spacers and that. So far, these have been great. Once again, I'm excited once the boss lets me take this out to get this out on the trail and see how those spacers work. We had, when that much dust comes out of a U-joint, that's not good. So your guys' U-joints, oh, look at that. That's great, isn't it? You guys sent us U-joints. This had a couple of loose ones, not anymore. I mean, once again, the OE quality, I noticed they were greasable also.
OE quality, greasable, and we also offer U-joints that are pre-installed in yokes too.
Really? Okay. Next time I want you guys to send me those, because to me the U-joints, there's something that's difficult. The nice thing is though, is you guys have that option with the regular just U-joint, because if you've only got one bad one and you've got the tools, you can knock it out. That's a heck of a lot cheaper, and you've still got the good quality parts to it. The other one that we did was a CV boot replacement, and I did not feel like saving the old boot to set it up here on the table. I figured the box, because it's not full of grease and grime and 14 years of trail on the U-joint boot. Your guys' U-joint boots, they were pretty easy to install. I mean, once again, is there a difference with the boot or anything like that, or is it just meant to be, hey, swift, easy installation and go?
Nope. Swift, easy to take on, put the new one on. All of our CV joints come with a packet of grease. That's already the right amount for the boot you're installing. So put the new grease in and put the clamps on and you're set.
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice because I was able to pack the boot, pack the joint, and I didn't have a mess under the ATV, or I didn't worry about it being like, well, is that not enough? I mean, it was the right amount in there. Because whenever you do it with just a regular tube of grease, you always do okay, I don't think that's enough, and you give it one more squeeze and all of a sudden the boot bulges up and it is everywhere. This has really been a great project, and I mean, I'm so glad that we were able to do this. I'm so glad that you guys were able to come on board for this too. I mean, you guys really had the right stuff to get this thing back to great shape. And now that we've got the graphics on it, it looks as good as it's going to run, perform, and everything like that. We're probably going to try and do an update here down the road a little bit once I get to take it out in the woods and actively ride it, we'll call it. I believe that's the polite way to say that. That all being said, Bo, I want to thank you for being here today. I'm really glad that you came in from Minnesota. I mean, we're a little warmer here, not much. Guys, make sure that you watch all of the Project X stuff that we've got here online. I want to thank you for tuning in today. I will see you out on the trail, probably a slightly different trail than Bo's on.